Hey dogs, this is Isaac here, and welcome back to Isaac Reviews 2021. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I saw Paw Patrol the movie recently, and I hate myself for doing so. Now, I just want to point out that I haven't seen too much of the original series since I'm way out of the age demographic, but I guess since it was successful, Paramount decided to make a feature-length film adaptation since they did that in 2019 when they made Dora and the Lost City of Gold, which actually turned out to be okay. Sure, the concept itself was basically hopeless, and the writing was pretty clunky, but when it came to the parody aspect of the film, it actually worked relatively well and could lead to some good humor. But with this one, from the trailer alone, I knew that it wouldn't try and be a clever parody of the educational children's shows that it was inspired by, but rather an 85-minute long episode of the show with some very juvenile dialogue, mainly that wedgie joke at the end of the trailer making me be like,
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
And thus, I was convinced that this would dethrone Thunder Force as the worst film of this year, and maybe even become one of the worst animated films of all time in the ranks of Norm of the North and Food Fight. But then the reviews came out, and I'm still baffled that I was able to hold a 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes because of how awful the trailer looked. But it's out now, and I decided I would watch it on Paramount Plus, since it would be really awkward as a 14-year-old going to a theater to watch a movie meant for children 6 and under. And now that I've seen it, does it hold up to the hype critics are giving it? No. No, it does not in any way whatsoever. Now, I guess I'll just skim through the plot really quick since I've got a lot to unpack in this review, but basically, Ryder and the pups move to a new location called Adventure City and start operating from there, but oh no, a corrupt politician just got elected mayor for contrived reasons, and now the pups have to stop the bad guys before they can destroy the city. I phrased the last part like that because this movie has little to no respect for the intelligence of viewers older than 7. Like, yeah, it has that subplot where Chase has PTSD about his dark past in Adventure City, but that's mostly just for some incredibly forced drama that makes me feel nothing more than, okay, this is happening, I guess. And along with that, there's also some other notable problems in this movie, and I'll be glad to explain them. Now, sticking with the writing, Paw Patrol the movie has some absolutely horrible pacing. Like, this is the kind of movie that can slow down time with how boring it is. Not to mention that the humor is abysmal, where sometimes it's hard to tell if it's trying to be funny, or it's so lowbrow and juvenile that it makes Arctic Dogs look like comedy gold. So yeah, the writing here is terrible, but are the characters any better? Honestly, no. Ryder and the pups are just the token good guys helping people from the evil villains. Mayor Humdinger and his 2 henchmen are obnoxious. Liberty is both annoying and one-note. And a lot of the other characters like Dolores, Kendra, and Gus are completely irrelevant to the story. And if you were to cut them out, hardly anything would change. Also, the acting is noticeably bad, where despite having a good amount of celebrities in the cast, the actors all sound like they're doing this for the check rather than delivering a solid performance. And the performances that they end up giving are extremely poor. But I guess if there's one aspect of Paw Patrol the movie that kinda makes up for the storytelling and characters, then it'd probably be with the animation, and even that has its flaws. Now, yes, I will admit that the overall polish the characters are given here does look nice, and the visuals themselves aren't terrible, but at the same time, the environments are incredibly boring, the character animation is a bit choppy and stiff, and the action feels very dull and uninspired, especially when it just mostly involves the pups running around trying to save people from whatever bad thing is happening to them. Again, the animation isn't terrible, but for the quality of a major motion picture with an unknown budget, it's barely passable. Well, I've covered all that I need to cover, so let's just get this review done with. Paw Patrol the movie is a disgrace towards animation and cinema, featuring some abysmal writing that leads to a painfully formulaic story, awful pacing, weak animation, a cast of useless and one-note characters, lazy voice acting, and unbearable humor. Please, I beg of all of you watching, do not watch this film at all. Even if the reviews are positive, and even if you have anyone in your family 6 years old and under, it's not worth it. And now I wait for the army of idiots to come in and tell me that I'm wrong to criticize this film because it's meant for kids. But let's face it, is that a valid excuse for this film to suck as much as it did? I didn't think so. But my point still stands that this is one of the worst animated films of all time in the ranks of the Emoji Movie and Norm of the North. Am I surprised that that's the case? Honestly, no. Not in any way whatsoever. Let's just get this rating over with. And there you have it, my rating for Paw Patrol the movie. Ugh, I hate this movie so much. Well, join me next time when we review something that actually looks good, The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. I haven't seen anything else related to The Witcher, but this does look promising, so hopefully it can be good. But anyways, that's all for this episode of Isaac Reviews 2021. Thank you all for watching, all that stuff. Subscribe and all that. I'll see you next time. Bye.